The game could be going as planned. Oh, please work, please work. That's about attempt number 4, I think. Yes, yes, please work. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, so this is basically the first game. This might be really the very... Yeah, that's okay, that's me being resigned, okay. It's a bit unfortunate for the game itself, or rather for how the map script is done, but anyway, we are going to be able to see in the game itself in its entirety, and we are probably going to be fixing that for some other rounds, but still we are going to be seeing the map and the gameplay for the players. So they are going to be having Joe as ISIS, and Swissboy is going to be playing as Ra. Definitely curious how they are going to be playing, but especially for the Ra. Because for Joe, it's going to be kind of standard faster heroic. That was the strategy even back then in vanilla. So not really expecting anything else, as we are going to be playing on Ghost Lake, which is a pretty decent map overall. And we'll be curious what the game plan is going to be from Swissboy. Well, he's having quite a nice map in here overall, as he's unfortunately it's behind the forest, but still it's pretty defensive. You can see that's going to be very easy to wall for himself in this part of the map. And otherwise, of course, yep, the hunt is very cool, and he's going to be quite happy about that. But those berries not in good numbers, but they are both having auros. We have already seen them on the other side of the map as well. So yep, that is at least something going for him. Otherwise, gold placement, for example, as already scouted by Joe at the bottom, which is quite aggressive scouting by him because he's the one starting actually at the top. He's already seen that the gold is going to be for his opponent, and it's not great for Swissboy, because this is basically his defensive goal. The other ones in the front are absolutely horrible. You can see they are even cut off from him. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Pretty bad indeed, with the hunt even there. This is not good. Not good spawn for him at all. And he's having at least some relic in there, which is for 2 scout and unit, well, basically scouting unit LOS. Yeah, that's something for him. The front TC quite far away, not guarding any gold, which is definitely unfortunate for an Egyptian. At least a few berries in there. But yep, not really that much important for Egyptian, to be honest, in the game. Otherwise, second TC seems to be quite alright for Joe, with the hand right next to it and a relic for better Toxo, Chariots and throwing Axeman 8 points. Definitely for the Chariots it's going to be quite useful. And well, the other TC on the right side, it's even more defensive. That's basically the defensive one. This is supposed to be a front one, but as it turns out, it's basically a defensive one through the wood line. So it should be quite alright for him. Base gold in the back and in the front, so it seems like that this is the spawn of having 2 of those for each of the player. Otherwise, he's having a bit of a gold at the back, and you can see that this map is kind of lopsided as far as gold spawning goes, because this is the only gold for Joe, basically, that he can consider on his part of the map. Otherwise, this is the second one that is already in the middle. So he's going to be forced into a pretty aggressive game. But looking at this unfortunate situation for Swissboy, I kind of thinking that Joe could be even taking advantage of this. Definitely could. He most definitely could be taking care of this and advantage as well. So we are already going to be probably coming forward. Temple is coming up quite slowly for the ISIS, as we are nearing 4 minutes almost, 3.5 minutes. So it's going to be advanced about 5 minutes. I'm kind of thinking really that he should be aiming for faster heroic. That's basically the go-to strategy for an Egyptian, and especially, of course, for an ISIS. And I'm kind of curious if maybe Joe might be, or rather Swissboy might be coming for Scarab Rush. I'm not exactly sure that it's going to be working against an ISIS, but he has some options like the Scarab Rush or maybe just normal Will Rush. That could be quite disruptive to faster heroic, of course. And if he was fast enough to actually deny the advance into the heroic age, which will be coming about 7.5 minutes, I think, for ISIS. Because of course he cannot go for second TC in the classical age as we are in the vanilla. Yeah, well, curious how this is gonna play out. For the especially, because for the ISIS, as I said numerous times, it's probably going to be fairly standard how he's going to be playing. So scouting to the top, that's about what he's so far doing. Not much interesting stuff otherwise, but this is going to be really all about the fight. either about the gold at the bottom or the one in the middle. I think this is going to be kind of halfway given up by Swissboy. He will be much more interested in the gold at the bottom, especially since there's also the hunt in there. So he might really be looking forward to this part of the map and trying to secure it for himself somehow. Well, temple down. As we are going to be waiting for the players to actually start advancing into the next ages as well. Already walling up right now, Swissboy. I'm kind of thinking that he really should be doing that because, of course, that might be a bit of an issue if he didn't. Otherwise, already a bit of walling coming up from Joe as well, as Joe is advancing as the first one. And yep, no TCs in the second age. In the second age, in the classical age. So he's gonna have to do with, of course, this hunt. You can see he was moving there from the gold. He was going for the town center and then he was hoping for the hunt, but he cannot really do that as we are in the vanilla, and that means not only do you not get TCs in classical age, you also don't get the mythical unit on the advance, and amongst other things, what else? There's going to be a bit different balance, definitely different balance from Booby balance patch. This is going to be just the original 1.10, the last patch for vanilla. And something that is different also in here, nothing major. I don't think there are actually all that many extras. Just Atlanteans and Titans missing, of course, so if you don't consider it major, yeah, it's minor issue. The most important for the Egyptians in here is, of course, that you don't have the second TC, so we are forced into basically the faster heroic to be efficient. As, yeah, the classical age fighting with Egyptians is usually kind of sucky, even though in a mirror, or close to mirror, between two Egyptians, you could be having some kind of luck with that. Alright, so that's going to be faster heroic, of course, for Swissboy as well. That's kind of expected. Right now going for the rain. And that's a bit of a shame that he actually couldn't cast it before the prosperity. That's something that he should have accounted for and cast it before, because you would be slowing down Joe quite significantly. And Joe's faster heroic would be pretty horrible. I can see the absolutely brutally horrible pathing. Yeah, he walled himself nicely, but he built it just a bit too close, right? Yes, he definitely did. He definitely did. I cannot really right now scroll around, as unfortunately I kept my camera actually locked. And I've already learned that if I actually change options during game, it's going to be crashing the game. So I'm not interested in doing that, as he's moving forward, coming for... What? Monument. Oh, let's see what it's gonna be. That's actually not a bad idea. I think that he's going to be wanting to drop a Migdol in here. Yes, exactly. And he wants it protected against potential god powers like Shifting Sands or, oh, goddammit, Locusts. And yeah, he's definitely aiming for this. This is definitely a good idea, and exactly what it's going to be backfiring for Swissboy. We could have already seen that a bit before. And since he's walling himself so much, yeah, he even left a hole in there, unfortunately for him. I'm fairly certain that he's fully unaware of that. Yeah, well, that's going to be a nasty surprise for him, as he's probably going to be aiming to somehow secure the gold mines in there. But yeah, that's going to be a bit too late, as the nice advance into the heroic age is definitely slightly faster for Joe. And yep, problems for the red player are going to be coming in pretty soon. Well then, that's going to be counter Migdol attempted, but of course with the monument being in place and having such a huge range, it's probably going to be very hard to use some good god powers for that. But he's already very nicely walled, so potentially the defensive Migdol in here next to gold could be working. And since he's in a spawn with 2 gold mines in his base, he should be kind of alrightish in there. So yeah, that's going to be pretty much fine for him, even though he needs to be really careful about all this range, which is going to be quite annoying. And at this point, I kind of think it would be a good idea from Joe to actually kind of hurry up into Mythical Age. Because when you see this protection, you can just place catapults behind it and you are going to be absolutely destroying anything in close range. Yeah, well, definitely quite some idea for Joe, but probably not going to be interested in that all that much. Or rather, all that much. And that means that he's going to be arriving in here pretty soon. Yeah, Crimson Cheeks, well, of course it's going to be a bit difficult for you, as there was a bit of a shift in sense cast, and he was basically trying to alleviate pressure, as he needed to protect himself from possible attack that is already coming through the bottom. But this elephant in there, well, that could actually help a bit, because it's definitely dividing attention from the siege tower. Red already moving to the bottom for the gold, of course, because he needs to, but unfortunately I'm fairly certain that Joe is going to be seeing that. With the Eclipse and Ancestors coming in here, and it seems like a pretty strong push that it's going to be kind of hard to defend for Swissboy. Not exactly sure what his plan is going to be. So far though, what needs to be also said that we are already in the Heroic Age, so they all can already build the town centers. They basically just jumped Classical Age, because what to do in that with Egyptian? There's not really all that many options. In there, and well, of course this is going to be resulting into quite a strong push into the Migdol, and looking how we are not seeing all that many towers. It's kind of weird that we are not seeing more siege towers from Joe. It still seems to be working alright, as the tower is just now gonna go down, but with the elephant doing that, doing his job exactly in there, this is quite a good victory for Joe, and a very well used Ancestors to basically support his push into the enemy base. So it's going to be pretty annoying, because he got the chariots exactly where he needed to get them to go on the gold, but he still needs to figure out the stuff at the bottom, which is unfortunately for him kinda out of his hands at this point, which means that Swissboy is going to be having a bit of a chance to actually mount some kind of comeback. Let's see. In the meantime, second TC captured by Joe, as he's moving also for the gold in here, and well, that seems to be just basically the idea for his gameplay right about now. Continuing with the gold, and we might just as well check some upgrades. And Ducks and Pickaxe for Joe. And for Swissboy, we are looking just Pickaxe, so he doesn't need Hand Axe yet. Even though I kind of think that he should be, but he's not interested in Chariot Archer, so he doesn't need all that much wood. And he's much more interested in Camel Rape, which is not a bad idea, because he needs to get rid of those pesky elephants, which are still a pretty strong unit in this early battle. Well, how to actually hope to save Swissboy in here, because he's quite probably going to be looking at losing second Migdol. He's already building a third one, but unfortunately without the Nefarut empowering it. Oh, is actually Joe gonna miss it? It almost looks like it. Oh, he's actually going to miss it. He absolutely missed, and that's Swissboy was already going for another Migdol right there. He's going to be just a bit too slow to go for it. But still, it still means that this gold is not going to be all that safe. And the army is quite strong. Quite strong by Joe. And Joe is definitely having the upper hand. Even if only from the second TC that is up. He's winning by 400 on score. That's already a pretty significant advantage at this stage. So yeah, that's that. And he's basically right now fully concentrated on the Camel Rape, which probably is going to be without any kind of upgrades. The same as for Joe, but Joe at least does have the 5% more hit points for the chariots, and that's of course not a bad advantage to be having against another Egyptian. So, good army, and oh, those elephants are almost dead. This is something that Joe should be actually microing. He should be sending a few priests to actually heal them. Yeah, not push forward, just go for a bit of raiding and save them. Because elephants are pretty expensive. You can see 180 food and 70 gold. That's just a bit of a shame to lose them like this. And he's going to be losing them. And if Swissboy is actually going to be fast to notice, he could easily kill them through the Migdol. Because of course, Migdols and towers and town centers do have a pretty good bonus against any cavalry and horse or other. Elephants are cavalry as well, especially if he's having crenellations. PG isn't, unfortunately, and this dude is idling yet again. Could be empowering at least. Will help his villagers. At any rate. Yeah, right now trying to get rid of the at least of the siege tower. As of course, right now Joe is going to be pushing the advantage, trying to secure the Migdol in there, with also the prospect of somehow securing the gold from his opponent. And this basically means that right now Swissboy is going to be on a timer, because he's down to 4,500 gold from this gold mine, and then he's going to be having just rest inside his base, which is still good. 2,500, that's not bad. That's actually quite significant amount of gold for him. It's not really that bad off still. But yeah, once this Migdol is going to be up, it's going to be just a bit easier spam of units for Joe. And of course, since he is already at second TC for like I think 5 minutes maybe. Maybe 3 to 5 minutes. He is getting the advantage in the economy above his opponent. And that, of course, is going to be really paying off quite significantly. So, make it all up. And Swissboy is just now resigning because, of course, this is not a position that he could be securing and somehow coming back from. Yeah, the economy was better for Joe. He was winning by already 800 points, which is another point that gave Swissboy an idea how the game is gonna go. Yeah, there wasn't really much of a chance that he's going to be able to gather from this gold, and that was where the game would have been lost for him a few minutes down the drain. So let's check the post game. Insane gold, yes. Yes. That was 1/6 pawn of a map. It was actually quite funny when you look at it. Because first, Swissboy was basically denied those 2 gold mines by the wood line. But at the same time, Joe was having literally 1 gold mine on his part of the map. The second gold mine was basically in anybody's territory. And all the rest of the gold was actually on Swissboy's side. So it's not that... So this pawn is actually not that bad as it might have seen in the at first sight. But it's still very sad for Swissboy, because without proper scouting, which he didn't have, he definitely thought that he's screwed. And that really does affect your game quite significantly. Yep. Let's check the post game fully then. It's probably not going to be all that much interesting. Economy actually not that bad for Swissboy when you look at it all around. Not that significant advantage for Joe, but the second TC you can see the difference in the 15 extra villages in there. Yeah, that's quite significant. 7:33. Good old time, faster heroic with ISIS. That's exactly what we played and were used to and hated in 2003, 4 and such. Alright then, GG.